All right, and a pleasant good morning to you from Tony'sPicks.com. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome to Night Moves here for Tuesday, March 3rd. Uh, we got a lot of sports going on for Tuesday, March 3rd. Depends where you want to start. Huge NBA, NHL cards. Can we kick any of the teams out of the previews for being inept and not playoff bound? It'll be hard to figure out if we can and college basketball. I think conference tournament season actually starts tonight. We had that play-in game on Monday, and went according to plan, I'd say. But we do have conference tournaments beginning too. Should we preview those, or should we just go over all the SEC games, all the mediocre SEC teams, and decide which one of them is less worse than the other one, while the little guys battle it out for their one little spot? I mean, is Bruce Pearl tone deaf what the fans want to see when it comes to what are we going to have to do? Make it 128 team? Shh, watch out. That's coming next. We'll see. We've got first four ins, first four outs. All those teams are SEC teams. The first four in. Yeah, no, there's some Big 12 teams in there too, Mountain West, whatever. But it seems like we're arguing about which SEC team is going to not make it in case Miami of Ohio loses, because no one's going to want to see, ninth place in the SEC, 17-15 instead of 33-1 Miami of Ohio. Am I right? All right. Well, maybe hopefully it'll all work out. Miami of Ohio's got another game tonight, and they won't lose, I don't think. But what do we want to preview? What do you guys want to hear from with tonight's card? Because it's Tuesday, and this is not your typical Tuesday. They're starting to cram the games in here so we can get to conference tournament time here on Night Moves. Thank you for joining me here tonight live from Las Vegas. And let me kind of get the color. Let me get the theme. Let me set the mood here right now. I'm watching replay of women's collegiate golf. Where's the sports right now, huh? Don't worry, the World Baseball Classic is coming up. We'll have sports in the middle of the night here for a few nights anyway, with some of the matchups. USA versus Brazil. Okay. I mean, who knows? Well, the USA will be more in prime time, but I'm just saying that's an opponent theirs. We saw them talking about, hey, don't sleep on Brazil. They've got the other Bichette brother. And maybe we should kick him out to Brazil, huh? He's already played. Bo Bichette's played for Brazil already. So, let's cut it. I mean, hey, these guys want to play in the World Baseball Classic. They can't be on their home teams. Better give some of these players to some of these countries. What is USA going to beat Brazil? Brazil will beat everybody except those countries that are actually baseball countries. But World Baseball Classic gets underway this week. So that'll be good. We've already saw the workouts today, saw some of the interviews there with the Team USA. I mean, okay, maybe Japan will beat Team USA, but only if Team USA is not taking it seriously. Come on. This team and this lineup is poised to win this tournament. You want to throw down on the Dominican Republic? I don't have a problem with that. I like that team too. Got Manny with the C on his shirt. So why not Dominican Republic? They probably won't have enough pitching, but could you imagine having a rotation like what the United States is going to be putting out there as your rotation? Let me hear from you guys in the chat. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel for Night Moves with some great sports, man. Here, what else is going on in the world of sports here? We saw the trade this morning, right, of breaking up Montgomery Gibbs. Hey, you want to be traded? Sometimes a guy wants to be traded, and then they hem and haw, and they kind of decide, should we trade? They just traded him. You want to be traded? Sure. Why would you want to? Okay, Houston's got a nice growing team too. Why would you want to leave the Lions? Hey, maybe you want to be a star, but we're ready for World Baseball Classic. I'm ready. Joe Musgrove is going to get the start versus Great Britain. I want to see how Musgrove looks because I'm worried about Joe and his season with the Padres. But hey, that's our guy. that's our guy out there, Josh. That's our guy. He's going to get the start here on Wednesday. And against Great Britain. And there, I think that's the matchup. I hope I have it right there. I kind of looked at I was looking over the rosters and the schedule. I was actually doing my due diligence here this week. So I think that's actually it might be. Is it a preseason game? Because USA opens. I think they open against Brazil right on Friday, and that they play Great Britain in a tune-up game. First, I think the first game is actually Chinese Taipei in Australia on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. We'll come back on Thursday with a game in the middle of the night, Czechia and Korea at 5 a.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific, and then Australia and Czechia come right back the next night and play. It's not a doubleheader. They're playing, in about a 19-hour span there, I think. Down there. And then Friday, it really kicks in, and you want baseball around the clock. You almost get it from 5 a.m. Eastern. There's a little break in there, but then you get games rattling off in there. Not only that first game, 5 a.m. Eastern on Friday, Japan and Chinese Taipei. Certainly sounds like it has some intrigue to it. Other games on Friday, Cuba and Panama, Netherlands and Venezuela. Remember, Netherlands are always a tricky team. You got some really good players there. Venezuela, of course. Let's face it, they're a baseball power, no matter where you want to look at it on what's going on in the world. Mexico and Great Britain, Puerto Rico and Colombia, Nicaragua and Dominican Republic, USA, Brazil, and then Chinese Taipei and Czechia. They're playing at different locales around the world to get things started. So looking forward. The World Baseball Classic. Got to bear in these preseason games. Come on. They can get ready. They don't have to be. Just don't get hurt, I guess. Saw some of the aces in there. Saw the nationally televised game today with Framber Valdez in there. 3 innings, no runs versus the Braves. That looks pretty good. Verlander's going to make a start on Friday for the Tigers. Remember, preseason, spring training still is going on there as well. So it will expand the spring breakout games with rookies, MLB said, in 2027. So that sounds like a fun twist. Team USA did name Logan Webb to start the game on Friday versus Brazil in the opener. Then Tariq Skubal will actually start the first official game against Great Britain there. And Paul Skeens, the Pirates, will start in the game of Mexico in pool play. So going to be fun at the World Baseball Classic. All right, let's look at who's here, who's in the chat, who's ready to talk sports and sports betting with me here on Night Moves. Jimmy Two Shoes ready to go. And Mr. Weskers is here as well. Want to say hello to Nathaniel Johnson in the chat. Nice to see you in the chat there, Nathaniel. I don't think we can put your comment on the screen, but I do appreciate it. Also, let's see who else is here. I do want to talk about a few more things there. And Joshua David Brown talking. Josh, what happened? I was trying to say, hey, what about the games there in Las Vegas for NRL last weekend? Those were some great games there. Overtime in there, and great to see. We always make fun of the NFL, right? Or we hear the complaints, oh, we're opening the season in Mexico. We're opening the season in Brazil. Where are we going to open the season next? In Spain, in Germany? Well, the National Rugby League has brought their season openers to the United States now for a couple of years. They come to Las Vegas, and I think that is a lot of, I think it shows. I mean, we saw that NHL game today, right? Starting the reason that game was at 2 p.m. Eastern and 1 o'clock in Nashville is they wanted to show it as a primetime featured game in Europe. There's going to be more of those games too. So, all right, let's see. Japan's 8.5. Oh my God, is that the line, Timmy? All right, and Bryce is cool. He does represent Las Vegas well. I know that for sure. He gets a bad rap. I mean, he is actually. Look, you know what? He's learned his lessons along the way. Let's just say that. Okay, Bryce has Bryce has matured as a Major League Baseball player and a guy in front of our very eyes. He's a really, really good guy. All right. And let's see here. I'm going to peek here a little bit of the results last night because I think we had a pretty good over at Tony's Picks. Oh man, I couldn't get it going really today. Just a 500 day over there, I believe. We'll take a look at the handicapper leaderboards over at Tony'sPicks.com and see who's having a great day. Like I said, man, a late goal there. Let me I'll get to my picks first, I guess. I don't want to lament them, but. Did have a couple basketball losses in here. I did have Rio Grande Valley, but kind of rolled with a couple of favorites here. Didn't quite work out, but I had the over in the Rockets and Wizards game. That seemed to be a popular play, actually. Won my college baseball play. Northeastern and LSU. I think it was Northeastern and LSU over 13.5. One team almost got there alone, although they almost. It was 13-1, I think, 13-2 or something like that. Ended up 13-10. And then, that late goal there in the Udinese-Fiorentina game took me down there. So, yeah, I just couldn't get things started here for the week with a 50-50 day over there at Tony'sPicks.com. Okay, I'll get them here because how can you miss with a card like this today? Only thing missing is Indian Wells starting on Wednesday. Looking forward to one of my favorite events of the year. I miss going to Indian Wells back in the day before it was, I went to Indian Wells before it was cool. Okay, let's move along here, though. I want to see some of the results in here. I did see also Team USA women over Argentina in the opening game of the She Believes Cup. There, USA plays Canada on Wednesday. Saw Iran playing in one of their games, and wasn't that something to see the Iranian team, the women's team playing? They lost 3-0, but you couldn't help but notice hijabs were showing. The hijabs were a few more inches back than I think they usually are. I don't know if that's controversial or not. They didn't sing the national anthem. Are they supposed to? Are they not supposed to? Okay. Hey, NBA, we had some winners here yesterday for sure on the show last night. We had Houston Rockets here on Night Moves. They didn't get it done, but I did have the premium pick winner there with the Rockets and the Wizards. The Tankathon was 50-50, I think, right? Boston got the win. We did have the under here on Night Moves. Giannis, hey, look, I don't want to say that, let's just see what happens with Milwaukee now. We might be on the fade train with them. We were already going with Boston, but I had the under in that one here. Also, Utah was able to cover there last night against Denver as part of the Tankathon winners of Utah, it is. But also we had on the show 2-2, we had the Clippers. And that one, big second half for the Clippers. Warriors gave them the scare there with a double-digit lead in the first half. The Clippers came back, actually dominated there in the second half, didn't they? They really kind of crushed them there. Kawhi, 23 points. Clippers hit nearly 50%, and the Warriors couldn't make any baskets in the second half. All right, hockey, though, was okay. Let's see how we did here. We did have Columbus. They got it done. Rangers, 4 goals in the third to tie it up, but the Blue Jackets ended up winning it there. We also had the Kraken there on the puck line. Remember, it felt like a mistake. Should have took them on the money line. I think they beat Carolina there 2-1 last night. Good job there by the Kraken. Also, winner with Dallas last night as they drubbed Vancouver, as we said they would on the puck line here, and Colorado did get it done. We had the under in that game. It was a push. Okay. College basketball, big night. We said take Duke here on the show last night. I watched the ESPN segment before the basketball game and saw old Joe Fortenbaugh give out North Carolina State and Iowa State. Good job, Joe. That's why you're getting paid the big bucks. But we had Duke here on Night Moves. We also had Arizona here in that one. Also, Morgan State we had here on the show, or I did anyway. I think you guys were trying to talk me off of it. but I had Morgan State on the show here last night. Stephen at Boston in that game against Incarnate Word, it finished there. Uh, uh, when we talked about it last night, was 8-point spread, finished 7. I won't take credit for the cover, although they did get the money eventually. The line was 8. I think we were on the show last night. I said lay 8. It finished an 8-point win there for SFA. They were laying 7 at post time there. So I think we had a pretty good show. Oh, also, yeah, did we have Cleveland State over IU Indy? You bet we did. And remember, I talked it up. I said, look, this thing's going to be similar to that game that they had where there was a big score, and that's what we got in that game. Typical IU Indy, 101 to 93. Okay, so lots of games. I don't know where to start. Do you guys have 2 hours? You want to go 2 hours tonight and talk a bunch of games, or do you want to just cut it in half? Let me know what you want to do in the chat. Thank you for joining me here. Let's go to the handicapper leaderboards. I didn't even look at I didn't even look at the graphics here, did I? With my record there, 3-3 on the day. A little bit steamed here, actually, considering I had some good plays here on the show. But let's take a look and see who's hot here at Tony'sPicks.com. Today, want to say congratulations to Tom Reghard, who went 8-4 on the day, good for over 4.5 units. Damian Sosh, another solid day, 3-0. Rod Zawacki, he's 3-1 on the day. Joey Tron hit both his plays. There's Solo Malone going 3-1 there last night for a profit. Ron Hahn won his only play. Jorge Gonzalez won his only play. The VIP account won. Stephen Duncan won his only play. Is that what? On a big NHL day? What's going on here? Maybe he wants to see a few. Chris Adkins won his only play. Vegas Al, hope he's feeling better. I think he missed the show tonight again. Man, Al, I'll send over some medicine to you across the way in Vegas here. DeAndre 1-0, Shane Mickle 2-1. Great job. Where's everybody's on here but me? It feels like they're today. Over the last 7 days, David Racy's up 12 units. Always a hard-working, great capper there. Stephen Duncan's up 7 units over the last 7 days. Mills Young, my man Mills, chatted with him. Well, traded some messages back and forth. Let him know he's doing a great job. Mills nearly 7 units over the last 7 days. Damian Sosh, he's got the old 619 going there at this profit. Tom Reghard doing a good job since joining the team. Ron Hahn up there. Joey Tron, Tony T in the green, and the VIP account in the green. Oh man, where am I? At least I'm over here on the monthly chart. Stephen Duncan up 24 units. Nick Lagaretos up 12.5 units. David Racy up 12.2 units. I'm up 10 units over the last 30 days, despite a little bit of a juicer today. Mills Young up there as well, 4 3/4 units. Al Ninos up 4 units. Vegas Alessandro is up there. Joey Tron and Damian Sosh. And the yearly leaders there, I'm up there, up 5 3/4 units so far this year on Tony'sPicks.com. You can click the All Cappers tab, find the handicapper of your choice, click on their handicapper profile page, and that's how you get signed up. Now it's a great time to join me for 1 week of action here, and I'm going to bring you some winners. Look, I don't know if you can find, we got some great cappers on this site putting up some monster numbers. My game is consistency. You see here all the sports that I show profit in here so far this season. And, once in a while there's a clunker, but more often than not, gonna have light up the tote. We're gonna have these days where we get juiced out a little bit. So join me over at Tony'sPicks.com. Thank you for listening to that. Let's get ready. We got so much time. We shouldn't even be messing with all this stuff here that I want to talk about today. But we got to get going. Like I said, tell me what you want to see as far as the previews today, because I'm concerned. All right, let's see here. That's right, Mr. Weskers. You know what, Mr. Weskers? How can you have a real Olympic hockey tournament without the CCCP, right? All right, let's see here. City by the Bay, want to see him in there. Thank you, City by the Bay, for some great promise. Stay away from the Jazz, especially the Jazz player props. But they look so good tonight. There was a point where I thought they were going to win the game. I mean, didn't you think when they just kept hanging around? there, and they had a chance. Great job by the Jazz tonight. Let's see. He says he likes the prop at DeRozan over 12.5 points. I'm just glad to have City by the Bay. Mr. Westers wants every game previewed. We might do that. We might just go on a 24-hour channel here, and I'll just sit here all day, except for when I sleep on Tony's channel. Get ready. We got some great things planned for you guys. All right. I think we better get going here right now. Let's get to the action here. Oh, don't forget, use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 15% off all premium pick packages, including mine. These are for the 3-game, 5-game, 7-game packages, discount best bet that I like to run every day. The 3-day, 7-day, and monthly packages, those are all, already heavily discounted, especially for a volume capper like me. So get signed up with me for 3 or 7 days here right now. All right, let's get going here. Look, we're still going to include the Charlotte Hornets here right now, no doubt about it. I mean, they're the team that's hot and continue to move up the charts. Like I said, I found it hard to really think that any game today in the NBA or NHL were teams with both teams kind of eliminated. I mean, even the Panthers and the Devils in the NHL, I mean, I guess if the Panthers are done, they're done. Both teams are in last place. I still kind of want to give the Panthers a chance to catch fire, but maybe that would be the one game in the of the slate, of both slates, that maybe you could skip because we got so many games to cover. But let's just see how we get along here and see how long it takes. We got Dallas here at Charlotte. I mean, we're going to cover Dallas here. I mean, we're going to cover the Hornets here for sure with the way they're going. I mean, these guys are coming on fast still here in the Eastern Conference. There's plenty of time left. They're currently just 2 games back of the Miami Heat. They're going to get a chance to extend their winning streak here against the tankathon Dallas Mavericks here. And also, don't forget maybe the underlying theme or the underlying story is the fact that, well, Con Kneppel is, completely, we talked about, Kneppel here and, him being the rookie of the year now. I think he's actually down to 1-2 odds. Is he minus 200 yet? Talking about Con Kneppel, Cooper Flagg is not the rookie of the year, unfortunately, mostly because he's missed these 10 games in a row. He's actually got a little bit of an improved status here. I think he's upgraded to doubtful. I don't think he's going to make this lineup, but he is nearing his return. Mr. Wesker's favorite, Klay Thompson, is questionable. P.J. Washington questionable. Marvin Bagley questionable. Najee Marshall is out. Caleb Martin is probable. For the Hornets, Kobe White's out, but that's it. I mean, they're healthy as can be coming in pretty much. Charlotte's 39-22 against the spread this season. They've covered pretty much every game here. 9-1 in their last 10 games against the spread overall. They're 18-11 against the spread at home, 13-6 against the spread as a favorite. The Dallas Mavericks are 11-16 against the spread on the road. They are 21-19 as a dog, but it hasn't been good of late. They did cover against OKC the other night, despite the fact they lost by 13 and only scored 87 points at home. They still were, not in it. But they did cover. For Charlotte, though, here, I mean, they've won 4 in a row. They're covering everything in sight. 7 straight covers here right now. Dallas is just 2-6 against the spread last 8 meetings with Charlotte. Charlotte's gone under in 7 of their last 8 and 7 of their last 8 at home and 13 of their last 19 overall. Charlotte's 9-20 to the under at home this season, and Dallas is pretty much a strong under as well. 27-33 to the under, 12-15 to the under on the road. Dallas has lost 14 of 18 on the road, covered 4 of their last 6, however. But again, they're the tankathon team here, so you think that Dallas can get the money here. The send out was like 9.5, and it's already gone up to 12.5. Most of the books open at 11.5. So let's see what you got. But I'm just adding it to the. And again, when it comes to the Tankathon, it does look like the home teams are doing a little bit better than the road teams, if you know what I mean. I'm talking about these big double-digit favorites against teams whose season is basically over. Okay, Mr. Westers wants to fade them, but it just knows that Dallas just can't produce. And then they've got all these injuries too, right? I mean, that's a serious injured list. All right, win by 16 4 times in a row. What do you mean? Is that like exactly 16? All right, let's see. 229 looks high. It looks high. It's higher. Is it? I have 229 on the screen. Oh, it's higher than that. Let me fix that. Oh, geez, how embarrassing. It's 231 at least here. There's some 230 and a half, but I'll say this. Circa's already at 231 and a half. So, look, if you've been, guys, I don't know. Maybe this will go viral. You can send it to Jeffrey Benson. But there's a service out there that tracks which sports books have the best records. I'm a technical handicapper. I pay attention to this stuff. Circa is always ahead of the curve. I mean, that Circa is the book that has the winning moves. I mean, that's just the way it is. This game opened 229 and a half, went to 231, and now 231 and a half at Circa, while all the other books are at 230, 230 and a half. So let's see what you got here in the chat. Appreciate you joining me here on Night Moves. This one's at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific here on Tuesday, a big NBA card. I'm going to take the Charlotte Hornets, so that's what I'm going to do. But talking about that total. And look, you're right. I mean, Charlotte is a total under team. Dallas, yes, they are an under team. This total is moved higher, like a 1.5 or 2 points. So you can ignore the move. You can fade the move and say, no, come on, these two teams are. But also, I think there's something to be said for the late season games here a little bit. I'm not sure I'm down with the move yet. I mean, these two teams more than any other teams on the card it's a total under game. The teams are combined 51 and 70 to the under this season. Okay, let's see here. Timmy Tuchus did take the under. He's got Khan to nail some threes. And Mr. Westro says that Charlotte's putting up these points, man, big time lately. And against Dallas, right, wouldn't they? Dak Kush King's here. He would have – he's going to skip this game. Maybe we should have skipped this game. All right. Well, I'll just take Charlotte here. Let's keep going. We got to work faster than this. My bad. Pistons and Cavaliers. Looks like a pretty darn good game here. In the division, you got the Cavs here right now. Fourth place. They're kind of saddled in between the Knicks and the Raptors. Don't know which direction they're going, but they did win last time out. Detroit, of course, a 5.5 game lead. Don't have to win them all, but they are. They just won 3 in a row here over OKC, Cleveland, and Orlando. Some pretty good wins. They covered against Orlando. They didn't against those decent teams. They lost to the Spurs, so they played some tough games here of late. Cleveland, meanwhile, just beat Brooklyn, but they couldn't cover. They struggled to win that game. They lost to Detroit, but got the money just back on February 27th, as we mentioned. It was 122 to 119 in that one. The Pistons got the win, but they were favored by 8.5. So the Cavs got the money in that game. Here it's virtually a toss-up right now. Maybe the Pistons, I'm going to move them at least to 1.5 here, maybe even 2. Pistons are probably 1.5 or 2 here right now, and the total is indeed 227. Cavaliers are 8-5 against the spread as an underdog, which we bagged on these guys all year for being bad against the spread, but you know what? That's better. That's better. Cleveland though, just 12-19 against the spread at home. Detroit. Oh man, I really messed up that graphic. Detroit 17-11 against the spread, 22 and 26 is a favorite, but more so 21-7 straight up. God, I'm a stickler for these graphics. Okay, I don't have a fancy graphic maker like Tony does. Okay, so I still got it wrong. I mean, it's got to be perfect. There we go. So Detroit 21-7 straight up on the road. Cleveland 20-11 straight up at home. The teams also played back in January. Detroit won at Cleveland, a 114-110, and Cleveland, I think, won the first meeting of the season early in the season. So see what you got here. This total, though, has kind of moved lower. It was 228 and a half, and these two teams are, I think these are more so under teams. The Detroit 11-16 to the under, especially when you got two decent teams playing each other with still some things on the line here. But Pistons 11-16 to the under on the road, 20-27 to the under as a favorite. Cleveland 12-19 to the under at home. Let's hear from you in the chat. That's what we do here on the show. We like to show the plays of the chat, get a feel for what the chat pros think. Detroit's covered 6 of their last 9 overall. They've lost 13 of the last 16 meetings to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavaliers haven't necessarily gone anywhere, right? It's just Detroit is in having this great season, and the Cavs have had injuries here. They've made a deal. What can you say about James Harden though in that game the other night? He's playing with, I think it is a broken thumb. Now some thumbs are broken more than others. I don't think the thing's not sticking out the wrong way like when I got my hand broken in a touch football game, and it's sticking out the wrong side. But Harden the other night with that miraculous performance, actually 22 points, 8 assists, 9 rebounds with a fractured thumb. So I think he's okay for this. I think he's in. I think he's going to play in this. Let's take a look here. Stewart probable. Oh, is Stewart probable from that suspension? Spider Mitchell's out with that groin injury right now, so that is going to be a little bit of a factor here for sure. Dean Wade questionable for the Cavs. So, but still, Mobley's been back. Hasn't looked that great, I think. 12 of the last 15 games between these two teams have gone under. They might be going over a little bit here of late, but, when you got two solid teams knowing each other, it just feels more like an under to me right now. Yeah, they did go over the other night in Detroit, but I'm going to take the under here in this one with Detroit and Cleveland. Let me go to the chat here in this one. How are we going to make it through when I've got to talk so much? Okay, here we go. Mr. Weskers, I wish this were only true, but right now I'm all upper body. I've got to do better on my treadmill. I'm ignoring the treadmill for the chair Tai Chi. I'm doing the chair Tai Chi at my age. All right. Here we go. Harden to go over for his assists. Mr. Wesker says Knicks Pistons final. Cavs money line for Dak Kush King. Nobody had any picks in that game, huh? Wizards and Magic here. NBA action for Tuesday. Yeah, we're going to still be on the Magic games here. And they've got another tankathon blowout here, looks like, with the Magic. Are they good enough to get it by 15 or 16? Really, if this were like, a few months ago, it'd only be about 11 and a half or so right now. But I think it's going to be hard for Washington here to score. What's the total right now? Is it still 220? It is 228 here. Okay, I'm a little surprised by that. Of course, Washington continues to struggle right now. No end in sight for this team here. Washington, when they would, no idea when they might win again here right now. They've lost 5 straight, lost 11 of the last 12 games to the Magic. They've also gone just 3-9 ATS in the last 12 against Orlando here. Magic have failed to cover in 4 of their last 5 games at home, but they are 4-2 ATS in their last 6. Washington actually won a meeting between the two teams back in January at home, 120-112 as a 7.5-point dog in an upset. Orlando won a regular season meeting so far here in back in Washington, 125-94, covering as a 9-point road favorite. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams have gone under. Washington's gone over in 10 of 14. These two teams are not great spread teams, neither one of them actually. But again, we're in the tankathon a little bit for me, so probably just going to lay it with the Magic here and hope they get the blowout. They're, certainly have plenty of motivation right now. They're in 7th place. They are a game and a half clear of the Atlanta Hawks, 2 clear of the Hornets here, but you want to keep winning right now when you have a chance if you're the Orlando Magic. We'll go quickly on this one here. Anybody in the chat interested with this matchup? All right. Not laying it with the Magic here. Did I miss the plays, you guys? No, I said a few. It just didn't surprise me. There weren't a lot of plays in there. Laying 14 might be. I'm going to do it, though, Dat Kush King. I've been doing it so far all along. I'm on the team tankathon here. So give me the Magic here. I'm going to lay 15.5 for the Magic to blow these guys out here tonight. In the tankathon, let's see what's going on. There was, the other news here, and it's not official yet. Oh, it might be. Okay. Trae Young is going to make his return. Not in this game, however. I think he is either eligible for return and not going to play, or he's not eligible for return until, I'm not sure what the deal is. But I don't think he's playing in this game, but he will play finally for Washington on Thursday against the Utah Jazz. That was announced today. I saw that. But for Washington here, Keyshawn George is questionable. Vukcevic is questionable. Gill is questionable. D'Lo's still out. Sarr is still out for the Magic. Wagner is out, and Black is probable. All right. Wizard, okay. Timmy Choo Shoes here. I kind of agree with this, Timmy. Maybe 205 might be a little low here, but we don't have the Gibson ratings, I guess, tonight. So, but I think right around there in the 25 would be. How about it? And Timmy says maybe the first half here. All right, thanks you guys. Let's go continue on here and go with the Nets versus the Heat. More action in the tankathon. Now, it does feel like the Heat aren't necessarily world beat. They're having a tough time just hanging on, it feels like, for this number 8 seed. They are tied with the Magic here in the standings here, but only a game and a half ahead of the Hawks, who are in 9th place, and the Hornets, like I said, a game back in 10th. But Brooklyn, they're on the big losing streak here right now, mailing in every game here at this point for Brooklyn. They've currently lost 8 straight games, 1-7 against the spread in those games. Miami's actually covered 6 of the last 9 meetings between the two teams. 6 straight meetings between these two teams have gone over. Brooklyn's gone over in 8 of their last 12, and Miami's gone over in 4 of their last 6 right now. And they're not totally over teams necessarily. In fact, in the series, like I said, it's 6 straight unders. So see how you have it here. It might be a problem actually for Brooklyn in the scoring department, the way things are going right now. It's just more so defensively. I mean, Brooklyn's given up some big numbers. They were the ones who gave up that record shooting performance to Boston. But that's Boston. I mean, they've already been crushing here. But finally, Brooklyn covered a spread after 7 straight failures in that last game against Cleveland. I was on Cleveland because it was a part of the tankathon here. And for Miami, they're coming in off of a win over Houston. Did a great job there. Before that, they had lost to Philadelphia and Milwaukee, so it was a little bit of concern. But look, they've still had some good wins. I mean, they blew out teams like Memphis and Atlanta, which certainly the Nets not as good as Atlanta is right now, and Miami needed that game against Atlanta. So, all right, Miami's 16-13 against the spread at home. Brooklyn 12-18 against the spread on the road. Let's see what we got here. It's going to be Dat Kush King likes the Nets plus those points. Maybe Mr. Westers could get to Miami here. And Timmy says, if they can't beat the Nets, who are you going to beat? Can the Heat score 130 here in this one? Yeah, I guess they're scheduled for about 120, right? But I do think they can get it. Jermaine's got Bam for the double double. I'm just going right back to the tankathon here, and I'm laying it with the Miami Heat in this one. Knicks and Raptors. NBA action here for Tuesday night with the Knicks on the road here, just 2.5. And the total here, 220. I think it's gone up a little bit here. 223.5, maybe even some 224s out there. A little bit of overnight action here in this one. And I think it might be warranted, actually. But let's see how you think in this game. The Knicks come in having won a couple in a row here right now. Wins over Milwaukee and San Antonio. Won some good wins there, actually. The Knicks had that awkward, they were on a 3-game road trip. Then went home to play the Spurs. Now they're coming right back out to Toronto. Not an easy schedule here. A little bit of travel here. They were just at Milwaukee. There and had several days off, and then, like I said, came home to play one game against the Spurs. Now back up to the Northeast to play Toronto on the road. Toronto, meanwhile, comes in off of a win over Washington. There, 134 to 125. Didn't cover 13.5 in the tankathon. But before that, Toronto had losses to OKC and San Antonio at home. Not easy teams, but they did hang in there against the Spurs, played okay against OKC. Before that, they were beaten up on also Rans, Chicago, and Milwaukee. So I got burned a little bit taking them in that game with Washington because they were covering their tankathon numbers. So let's see what you got here, though. This ain't no tankathon. That's for sure, with the Knicks coming in. But like I said, that seemed like an awkward travel there for the Knickerbockers there. All right. I guess it's not bad. I mean, New York to Toronto, but it's always weird that one game you go home for. Okay, let's see what we got here in this one with the Knicks and the Raptors. Knicks are currently locked into third place here, trying to chase down the Celtics and fend off the Cavaliers. Make sure you stay in the top 3 or 4. That'd be a good situation for them. Toronto, meanwhile, they're in 5th place, 2 back of Cleveland, 2 ahead of the Sixers. All right, let's see what you have. Okay, Timmy Two Shoes on the Knicks here, and Dak Kush King, he knows, if anybody knows, he said, look, the Knicks still own the Raptors, no matter how you look at it. They've won every single game, no matter where it's been played in this series of late. That's what I'm worried. The only thing that has to be considering is this awkward travel spot. But not only have they, won all these games against the Raptors, Dak Kush King knows the Knicks have also covered the spread in every single one of them. They own this team. Knicks are 4-1 straight up in their last 5, 12-6 against the spread their last 18. Toronto's covered 6 of 9, but lost 7 of their last 10 games at home. 4 of the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone under. They're certainly under teams, I think, for the most part, especially Toronto, 13 and 18. To the under at home, they've gone under in 5 of their last 7. Knicks have gone under in 4 of their last 5. But I feel like with the game here, look, they've gone under in 3 straight meetings. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about the over in this game. Okay, let's see, though, here. Let me go to any more in the chat? I'm worried here. BI, 6+ rebounds, cash money, says Jermaine. Knicks to hammer the Raptors again, says Timmy Two Shoes. Right? And how many, even especially when you go in on the road. I mean, we know the Raptors it hasn't been good at home for some reason this year. I think it's a cliche to just say, "Oh, the Raptors at home." How many times do you hear the talking heads? You've got to go through the customs. You got to look. It's not as simple as that, is it? The Raptors are 13-18 at home against the spread, although they are 15-9 against the spread as an underdog. And the Knicks are not a great road cover, just 12-18. But again, they've got their prey. All right. They've got their prey, and they always beat this team, don't they? Will this be the one? I can't see it. They just are dominating this team right now. I've got the New York Knicks in this one over Toronto. All right, we're back to the Tankathon again. Is this the right line? That's not the right line, is it? 10? Well, we know there are some issues here for the Thunder. No doubt about it. It's only 10, but SGA is going to take this one off, keep trying to stay healthy here right now. So, yeah, that might be a little bit of a factor, but it doesn't feel like that's affected OKC really that much. Yeah, they, lost a game here. Who was that game? Who did they lose to again? Detroit there. But, they didn't cover against Dallas in the Tankathon, and then they didn't cover in the win against Denver, although they only missed it by the hook. They won against Toronto. They won against Cleveland. They're still an okay cover. And we know Chicago, it's just been, they've quit. Nobody likes to be called a quitter. I know that. Carlson is out for the Thunder. A.J. Mitchell out still here. Hartenstein out. Guard Jalen Williams is out. There's a lot of guys out here for OKC. For Chicago, Simons is out. Patrick Williams is definitely out here right now. Jalen Smith, he's not going to play still. So they've got issues. And they've also had, they had guys go out, remember, a few weeks ago who are out for the rest of the season. So probably missing half a dozen regulars. So just a matter of what is OKC committed to do in this one. The Bulls are done there, even though they're in just in 12th place. They're already 7 games back of 8th place right now. Thunder, meanwhile, still trying to hold off the Spurs, although they did increase their lead from 2 to 3 games. See what you have here in the chat with this one. I'm probably just going back to the Tankathon. Oklahoma City, though, 7-0 against the spread. Their last 7 meetings against Chicago. Chicago just 2-10 against the spread in their last 12 games overall. They've lost 11 of 12. OKC 6-3 against the spread. Their last 9, they've gone over in 4 of their last 5. 10 of the last 14 meetings between the two teams have gone over. But Chicago's 12-21 to the under at home this season. In the chat, let's see here. Timmy Tuchu's got some Isaiah Joe action here. And Mr. Weskers, I've talked him into OKC maybe, or he's just resigned to it, because what else are you going to do? We've seen OKC with, right, Mr. West. How is this a prediction mark? They're taking that much juice out of it, right? Oh, prediction markets aren't gambling; they're betting against each other. The Mr. Weskers, right? And the other thing is, there's insider trading on the U.S. bombing Iran. It was the worst kept secret. The joke is the guys who bought the contracts the other way that they wouldn't. Did someone really go in there, or was it just accumulation of prices there? But did someone really go off and say, I don't think they're going to bomb Iran this week? All right. I'm taking the Thunder here in the Tankathon. Maybe it's just because I love to say Tankathon in that voice. And all right, to Caruso to go nuts. Next up, Spurs and Sixers. Wasn't that a nice? I didn't see that. I saw the play with BJ Edgecombe the other night. when he tumbled into the stands. I saw he kicked the lady in the face, but I didn't see the hug, and then I didn't see the phone call afterwards. That was so nice. BJ Edgecombe is obviously a sweetheart of a man and a pretty darn good player too. Uh, so let's see what you got here with San Antonio taking on Philadelphia and BJ Edgecombe here. San Antonio did lose last time out to those Knickerbockers. They got blown out, remember, but I think they were due they were on fire. You were playing at the Knicks. I was on the Knicks in that one. They brought the defense. That's what, I think when you guys are talking a little bit about the Knicks in there, I mean, they have a defense that kind of transcends a little bit the way some of the other teams have succeeded here, I think, and that is giving the Knicks a little bit of I think a little bit extra that people might be forgetting about. Anyways, I'm trying to talk about these two teams. Philadelphia comes in here off that loss to Boston, 114-98. They were also due for a loss. They are going into Boston as a big underdog. I took the Sixers because they've been such a good road dog. They actually were kind of in it there, and then Boston pulled away in the final minutes. They were still going to cover, it looked like, but they put some extra points on the board there at the end. Is this total really 231? I think it's gone down, right? No, in fact, it's 232. Might be 231 and a half, but it's 232 at least here. Oh, boy. All right, and the spread's definitely 8. All right. Look, neither of these teams are in maybe their best role. The Spurs are 18-15 against the spread on the road. They're not killers against the number here. They're often saddled with kind of some big spreads, but look, they've had some great wins. They were on fire there for a while. Philadelphia had a little 3-game winning streak going themselves as they've been, playing well. Make sure they're solidified here in the postseason. They're currently 2 back of the Raptors for 5th place, a game and a half ahead of the Magic here. Like I said, the Spurs are now 3 back, trying to still chase down the Thunder here. And pretty big number, but we know the situation here does certainly depend on whether or not Embiid, I think he's in this game. I don't see why he wouldn't here. Look, Sixers are playing, Embiid is out. I don't see why he would play here. That's why the spread is 8, of course. But what I meant to say is, I think that for the Sixers, it's built into the line, and not only that, their situation kind of depends on still trying to remain competitive here, even if Embiid is going to be missing time here right now with this oblique injury. So we heard about, what it's going to take to get him back into the lineup, but will Philadelphia be able to hang on in some of these games here right now? Again, they are 3 games clear of Atlanta. All right, Philadelphia. Let's see what you guys have in this one. Philadelphia has not played the Spurs yet this season. Last year here in Philly, it was 111-106. Philly won it as a 5.5-point favorite. Did not cover by a hook. San Antonio got the win and cover at home last year. All right, here we go with some picks. Worcester Western wants to be on the Sixers. Yep, no Embiid. They're getting that money, right? And Timmy says Wemby over in his blocks. And, Timmy Two Shoes likes the Wemby blocks as well here. All right. All right, let's see how. I guess that's it. I guess I got to make my call here in this one. Like I said, I don't have as many concerns about Embiid missing this game, or we'd like to have him in there certainly, but they've had enough games without him here before, and I don't know how you think. Like I said, The move came looking like it was going down. I'm going over. I'm not going to mess with this situation just yet. Give me the over. I know that the Sharps are probably going to be hitting the under here, but I've got to go over in this one. I don't even know if I have enough proof here that it will go over. Philadelphia's had some overs here of late. Philadelphia's also won 8 of the last 9 meetings at home between these two teams, although San Antonio's covered 4 of the last 6 between the two. San Antonio's definitely been an under when they're favored. 18 and 25 of the under. They've gone under in 4 of their last 6. 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams have gone over. I don't think there's a lot of trends that point to the over in this one. I just happen to think it's going to be Philly's gone over in 11 of 16 at home. Maybe that'll help my cause a little bit, but I've got over in this one. Okay. Timmy says they're going to run a tiny lineup out there. I think I'm with Dak King here, maybe with those points. And Vassell hitting those threes, right? What a player he's been. I mean, here's a man that lived up to his, maybe overshot his expectations. Mr. Westwood says the Sixers can hang, but then, what about the depth? All right, I'm on the over there. Next up, the Grizzlies are at the Wolves here in this one. We're in the Tankathon with the Timberwolves favoring this one by 14. Total 238.5 here maybe right now. Let's still call it 237, maybe 237.5. Does feel like it's moving a little bit higher here. But let's see. Let's get it going here in this one. Like I said, we're back in the Tankathon. Oh, we're back in the Tankathon, and that's probably just where I'm going to stay in this one. Aldama, here it's all the injuries are on the Grizzlies here. The Wolves have a clean bill of health. Aldama's questionable. Ty Jerome questionable. Coward is questionable as well. So injuries for the Grizzlies. Minnesota comes in here off of a 3-game winning streak. They beat Denver on the road, 117-108 last time out. They haven't been a great cover. They were actually failing to cover. They've won 6 of their last 7, but they're 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games. So they do lack that killer instinct that you want from your Tankathon teams. Memphis, meanwhile, actually comes in with 2 strong efforts over weak teams, Dallas and Indiana, but they won on the road against those teams. So hats off to the Grizzlies. They're trying here a little bit. They've covered 8 of their last 12. They've also beaten Minnesota in 4 of the last 6 meetings. 7 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Memphis has gone over in 9 of their last 13, but they're still 12-18 to the under on the road, and Minnesota's 11-20 to the under at home. Not only 11 of their last 20, but 14 of their last 20 under at home. They're 11-20 at home overall. Does that make sense? Okay, let's go to the chat here in this one and see what you got. I'm on the Timberwolves. I'm totally Tankathon. Again, the only ones I'm thinking about not maybe going in the Tankathon is if they're on the road a little bit. I don't know. Hello to Ron Jeff in the chat. All right. Mr. Weskers. Okay, Fox. Okay, nothing much from the chat there unless I'm missing it. Yeah, I mean, we're done. It was like yeah, it's almost like we're done talking about Ja, right? How do you become totally irrelevant? How do you become totally irrelevant? I mean, there is, he's got an elbow injury, but I mean, okay. Here we go. Next up. All right. Well, we are in the tankathon here with the Pelicans and the Lakers. We did see everyone's favorite daddy, Zion Williamson. I believe he is going to be back for this game. Um, let's see what the official status is here for Zion Train. Questionable here, so we'll see actually if he gets in here, and we'll see if the Lakers are ready to go full bore here. I think they are expecting a full lineup. I think there's not many injuries in this game at all. Amazing how everybody's healthy at the end of the year, kind of. Well, I guess some of them are, and some of them aren't, but. Lakers here are favored by, I think it's down here actually to 8.5 or 8. I think it's because it feels like Zion might be in this game. The move has kind of been on the Pelicans here overnight. Total here is up to 238.5, 239, even 239.5 right now for the over in this game. And I don't think you'd be wrong. I mean, I know 240 looks like a lot, but seeing some of these games right now, the Lakers hit that over there the other night, didn't they, against Golden State? But it didn't go over, I don't think, in that game to Sacramento. I was on the under in that game. I think it was a premium. Was it a premium? But the Lakers did win their tankathon game there. They were favored by 13.5 and blew out Sacramento. So, look, this one's doable here, I think. The Lakers feel like the one team you don't maybe want in the tankathon here. New Orleans was on a roll before they lost to the Clippers, but they probably just got a little fatigued on the road after sweeping back-to-back games in Utah and then coming down to play LA for one game. So other than that, New Orleans, though, has been a pretty good cover of late. Pelicans 4-1 straight up and against the spread in their last 5. Just 1-4 ATS against the Lakers. Lakers have won 7 straight meetings at home against this crew. Lakers have gone under in 4 of their last 5, but the Pelicans have gone over in 5 of their last 7. I'm going to take the over in this one. I'm probably still put the Lakers in the tankathon. It's just that they do seem like the team. And give the Pelicans credit. Like I said, they are in the tankathon, but they are showing maybe just a little bit of signs of life. I mean, it would take. They're completely dead last, but again, they were on their best roll of the season there, and they have put it together a few times. They're not going anywhere, but I'll go over as my pick here in this one, just so I don't take every tankathon. But I still might take them in a premium. Watch out. Okay, we got some picks from you guys here. And let's see. Mr. Weskers wants to fade the Lakers. Yeah, look, I almost am worried a little bit, but at least they did show against the Kings that they could get a blowout that they were expected to. Ron Jeff says go over. I'm going over, Ron Jeff. I'm going over. And Timmy Chucha says he wishes he could get Bronny's 2 threes there. But you know what? What about LeBron's daughter? She had the shot. Did you see her? Did you see her do the backwards shot there in warm-ups on Daddy-Daughter Day? And she hit a little jumper also. But you know what? She's a volleyball player. Mrs. James said, let's put her in volleyball, LeBron. I'm done with basketball. I don't know. She likes volleyball, Ron Jeff. She's probably, who you don't know. She's just still a young, tall lady. And, still like a teen, or not even early teens there. But you got to wonder how tall she'll be, right? I mean, come on. Okay, here we go. One more here. Suns and Kings. And we're in the tankathon here with the Suns. And, yeah, the Suns, they're in right now in 7th place here, 3 games clear of the Warriors, 2 games back of the Lakers currently. Suns coming in off of that win over the Lakers, 113 to 110 as a 5.5-point dog at home in that one. We were on the Suns. But Suns were having a problem before that. They lost at home to Boston. The offense has been really weak. Yeah, they played Boston, I know, but they only scored 81. They only scored 77 against Portland in a loss. They only scored 110 at home against Orlando, or 113 at home against Orlando. They did win that game, didn't cover. And then scored only 94 at San Antonio. They're still 17-11 on the road against the spread and 18-10 against the spread as a favorite. Meanwhile, Sacramento 12-17 at home, 22-34 against the spread as an underdog. Sacramento, I said the Pelicans were dead last. I mean, they're not really, but the Kings are dead last. But I just meant that the Pelicans were, in the group of last place teams and weren't going to catch the Lakers. That's all. Kings are the worst. Kings are the worst. So I think the Suns can take them here in the Tankathon. I think so. I mean, come on. The Suns are 12 games over 500 against the spread, and the Kings are 14 games under 500 against the spread. They should win this game by at least a dozen or more, even if it wasn't in the Tankathon. But Booker is, of course, the story here, and he's probable. So I think it's actually up to 10.5. Goodwin is out. Brooks is still out. And Cayman Malawak is questionable for Phoenix. For Sacramento, Keegan Murray still out. Okay, I'm taking the Kings. I'm going to the Tankathon here. Give me the Kings. But, this total, what is it up there? 225 there? Yeah, 225. We're going to probably find this one on the premium list. I mean, I don't expect the Kings to score many points against this Phoenix team. All right, here we go. We've got we tried Jermaine. Hey, Jermaine's here. All right. Kings are a joke, says Ron Jeff. Continue to fade them. We're not lighting any beams around here. Gillespie under his points and assists. Suns for Mr. Weskers. We're going to do it. We're going to the Tankathon here. DeRozan's props. Ron Jeff Reddit says, go Suns. Where's Brooks? He's going to be healthy here soon. Kings should get 100. Okay. Well, I guess if the Kings get 100, I guess it's still going under. How is it 225 here? I mean, really? How is it 225 here? I mean, what am I missing? I mean, if you look, okay, so what's it going to be? 117 to 107? 117 to 107? I think it'd be like 115 to 95. All right, that's it for the NBA. We got so much to do here. We got to move on. Let's go to college basketball here tonight. There are so many games. I don't know where to go. What do you guys want to do? Let's just, there's so many important games here with some of these. We got to talk about every SEC game, you guys. If we don't, we obviously don't know what we're talking about. These games are so important. Who is going to finish in 6th place, in 7th place, in 8th place in the SEC? It's critical, especially if you're a team like the Georgia Bulldogs. Okay, they're in right now. It looks like they're going to be in the group. They're not going to be in the first 4 or the final 4, whatever it's called, but they're close. They're trying to stay out of that. Out of the little play-in. They're actually going to, right? Why do we do that? Why do we have those little play-in things here for that dumb, playing for a 5 seed? Why, or whatever it is, right? That's what doesn't make any sense. I'm talking about. It's the last 2 at-large, the last 4 at-large teams go to that, go to the little thing in Dayton where we've got the 4 automatic bid teams, right, that have to play the extra game because of the SWAC and the MEACs. And then we've got that dumb thing where they're, playing for a seeded spot between the last at-large teams. That doesn't, to me, that is the failure of the format. And that's why we're going to have That's why it's going to go up now to more, to more teams again. And then they'll still find a way to mess it up. Okay, Alabama and Georgia here. Quit whining. It's a long show. Alabama on the road here, favored by 1.5. Total 179. Now, look, we know what's going on, right, with all these Alabama games, but Georgia usually they have enough defense. It feels like I don't think we're going to see uh, whatever. Look, Alabama putting up these big numbers. The Tennessee game was way under, right? It was 71-69. Bama got the win on the road as a dog. They did put up 100 on Mississippi State, of course, blew them out of the water. Uh, uh, that Arkansas game, that was double overtime when they scored 117. Alabama 7-4 against the spread on the road this season. 8-11 against the spread as a favorite here. For Georgia, meanwhile, they come in here off of a win over South Carolina, 87-66. Before that, they lost to Vandy. Beat Texas, though, beat Kentucky, lost to OU. Alabama comes in here on a winning streak right now and does feel like, I don't know. It looks a little shy here anyway. Now, look, we know that over in the SEC right now, we saw the Florida Gators here, 14-2 right now, and clinching at least a share of the title. Alabama is 12-4, so Florida's not going to lose another game, obviously, here right now. Their games are against Ole Miss. They do play Kentucky last. I guess they could lose that one, but they really only need the one win to get it outright here. So, look, Alabama's motivated here to continue to play, thinking they could get a chance. Maybe they could watch the scoreboard a little bit. I don't know what time that other game is. So we're going to talk about a Kentucky Florida game. No, they're not playing Florida. They're playing Mississippi State is who they're playing. All right, let's hear from you in the chat. We'll talk about the matchup here with Alabama and Georgia. These two teams have not met yet this season. Last year, Alabama won at home 80-69 as a 12.5-point favorite. Alabama's won 7 of the last 8 games against Georgia. They've covered 7 of the last 8 games against the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia won back in 23 at home, 82-76. Georgia's gone just 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 at home, but the other one was a couple years before that. I think it was pre-pandemic, actually. So it's been an Alabama-dominated series here. Let's see what you got in this one. Both teams are kind of over teams for sure. We know Alabama 8-3 against 8-3 to the over on the road. UGA 11-8 to the over at home. I kind of like the under, but I'm gonna take Alabama here to win and get it done against the Bulldogs. Give me the Crimson Tide or High Tide. Okay. Hey, want to say hello to Shaq is here, everybody. Hello to Shaq tonight. And Mr. Weskers does like Georgia here in this one. Jimmy Two Shoes does like it over. See, I'm going to the side. I'm taking the side, I guess, in this one. I kind of want to make a case for the under because Georgia games at home in conference play. I know they're playing Alabama, so sometimes I just get caught up in that, I guess. And I'm just like, even, look at some of these scores when Georgia's played. It was 159, 161, 167. None of these scores against Alabama. Now, I know this is a completely different year right here, right now, but usually when Georgia faces good teams, they kind of go into a little bit of a shell. Hey, want to say death by stone in the chat. Maybe, and you know what? I don't want to show his comment on the screen, but I'm not going to, disagree with him. Seems like they got a pretty bad front office in Washington. I want to give Sarr a big chance, though. I'm sorry he's hurt here at the end of the year. Maybe it just means Wizards young because Trae Young's going to play here in a couple days. All right, keep it moving here right now. I'm taking Alabama. TCU, Texas Tech here. Like I said, I hope these games are okay by you guys. I'm just trying to pick out the most important games. TCU right now is in the last 4 in here, so they're trying to hang on by a thread right now and trying to stay here in bracketology. And they're a 10-point underdog here against Texas Tech. Texas Tech, we know how good they looked in that last game. You know, they're without their star, but they just felt like they kept turning on the heat here right now. Texas Tech 22-7, TCU. Yeah, okay, it's not the SEC, but does TCU really deserve to go? I think they do. They've won 3 straight here right now. Wins over Washington State, West Virginia, ASU, and Kansas State. They covered all of those. They're a terrific underdog this year, 7-2 against the spread when taking the points. Meanwhile, Texas Tech just 10-11 against the spread as a favorite. TCU's been good in the role. The two teams have not met yet this season, but last year it was 71-57. Texas Tech won here as a 12-point favorite, and they got the money, but TCU got the win at home later on in February last year when the two teams met. So TCU's actually had success against Texas Tech over the last few years. They've won 3 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams, actually. TCU's had some decent clubs here. Look, this team's okay. This team's good. This team's fine. It actually covered 4 out of the last 5 against Texas Tech overall. Texas Tech, though, 6-1 straight up and against the spread. Their last 7, 10 of the last 15 meetings in this series have gone over. They're not big-time overs this year. In fact, TCU's gone under in 16 of 29 games and for their last 6 overall. See what you got here in this one with Texas Tech and Texas here. Look, that's a good mark for TCU again, as a dog, and they're getting double digits here against a team that obviously they're familiar with and had some pretty decent success against here is what it feels like to me. So I'm probably willing to take them here. I will say this though, Texas Tech sometimes in these they do have some good defense here, but I'm going to go ahead and take TCU in this one. The Sharps are going to take the over here, and they might not be wrong. 100 at 148. I'll take TCU. I'm just contemplating that. I think 148 is going to end up a little bit low here. Has the line moved yet? I'm looking. 148, open 147. So it's only going north here right now. Slowly but surely, the money's coming in, it looks like, on the over here, and that's how I kind of feel about it. But let me take TCU as a play. That's gonna qualify close to premium, it feels like. Okay, here. Mr. Westers loves fading TCU. I just went with TCU. And Texas Tech is dead if they can't beat up TCU. All right. Well, Texas Tech has been hot, but TCU is hot too. I'm taking TCU. Not much from the chat on some of these games, but let me look at another one here. I'm looking at important games in the bracketology here. So I've got to look at VCU here right now. They are currently number 5, sitting at number 5 out here, about number 73 overall. So they need to get it going. Now they are favored here by 11 in this one, so they should take care of it, but it's not going to help your rating very much. Favored by 11 here, if you can't really put it on these guys, get a little bit of a blowout. So they may actually have some motivation here to blow out George Mason. Look, George Mason's kind of been a darling, right, over the last few seasons here right now, but they've kind of hit a low. Now, look, funny thing is, they both come in here with 22-7 records, but George Mason's been on a tailspin. They finally beat St. Bonaventure to stop a losing streak last time out, 71-58 at home to cover 3.5. But before that, it was a disaster. They lost to St. Joe's. It was a toss-up, but lost to Dayton at home, got beat by George Washington on the road, got beat by Richmond on the road, and they've fallen out of the tournament because of the losing skid that George Mason was on. I'll spit it out. So let's see what you think here in this one. George Mason and VCU. George Mason has lost 6 of the last 7 meetings against these two teams. Mason just 2-10 against the spread on the road in their last 12 games. TCU has won 11 of 12 covered 4 of their last 6. These two teams met in January, and Mason actually won 86-80 at home as a 1.5-point dog. So you got some revenge here. Like I said, VCU's kind of owned these guys. That was their first win for George Mason over VCU, like I said, in 7 games. So should be looking forward to getting a blowout here, but can they blow them out? I think I'd probably just prefer to go under in this one. I think these guys go under quite a bit, although this year the first meeting went over between the two teams. It was, like I said, it was 86-80 in that one with George Mason winning. VCU is 11-7 to the over on the road. Mason 6-3 to the over on the road. VCU 11-7 to the over at home. Mason 6-3 to the over on the road. The show would be a lot shorter if I could read my notes. I wouldn't have to correct myself. All right. Anybody interested? I think you guys have lost interest in college basketball here, waiting for the tournaments to start. Nobody, or just no one wants to make any picks with me. We got 4 dozen of you in here with me right now, so feel free to comment on the game here. Tell me what you like. These two teams always go under, man. Don't they? I mean, I know the last one was over, but it used to be the George Mason and VCU game. It wouldn't be 148. It'd be 130. It'd be maybe 128 when these two teams used to play. It used to always be a game that was like 70-65 or something. I know it's different here right now. These two teams are both pretty good. Funny how both teams 22-7 coming into this one right now, but the thing here with these two teams right now this season has been Mason's inability to do anything on the road. They're 4-5 straight up, 1-2 against the spread. I'm sorry, 1-2 as an underdog on the road. 2-7 ATS on the road for Mason. Talked about them there a little bit, and their poor record there. So, all right, let me hear from you if you care about this one with Mason and VCU. Look at the standings here. St. Louis currently 1 game lead over St. Louis here. Both teams with 2 games left. St. Louis doesn't play. St. Louis plays tomorrow night, actually. So we'll see. The title's not decided here yet. So VCU would like to win this one as well. I'm going to go under. I think of George Mason, VCU, and I think 70-60. I know it's different this year, but I'm going under. Sometimes I can't get away from tradition. All right, let's see here. VCU ATS. That's it. Boy, I'm getting sad now. No one makes any picks with. Maybe it's my, hey, I've been playing the college picks on the show have been strong. I just can't seem to hit them in the premiums right now. All right, Kentucky is on the road here, taking on Texas A&M. College basketball action for Tuesday, and here it is. I mean, right, we're in the SEC. We're talking about Texas A&M. Now, they are in the last 4. They're going to avoid the first 4 here at this point, but like like I said, you do want to avoid that extra game. That's where they stand right now. Uh, uh, Here with Texas A&M, and they're actually favored at home in this game. Good matchup here. Kentucky comes in here 19 and 10, winners of two straight. Texas A&M is 19 and 10, losers of two straight. A&M lost at Arkansas and at home against Texas. They've been struggling here. UK, meanwhile, impressive wins over South Carolina and Vandy. Beat Vandy at home. They were they were 1.5 point favorite, won by 14 in that one. UK comes in here, 18 and 14 against the spread. Texas A&M just 8 and 10 against the spread at home. These two teams met last year in Lexington, and it was 81-69. Kentucky got the win and cover. That was the last time they met. Total was 156 in that game. It landed 150. Texas A&M's 12 and 6 to the over at home this season. All right, let's see what you think here in this one. I kind of just, Texas A&M at home. I get it, 159. I mean, I know we've got, playing Kentucky here, but I don't know if I see this game in the 160s right now. Is Kentucky that impressive on the road scoring wise that they're going to get close to 80 points here in this one? I know they scored 91 against Vandy, but really they were just in the mid 70s. And maybe 80, they got 83 at Florida, but I mean, Florida putting up 92 on them. And that game was still only 175. I know this is 159. We're in a different area code, but all right. See what you guys have in this one with Kentucky taking on Texas A&M here, SEC action. Oops. All right, I'm going to go to the chat here. Nothing, nothing from the chat. Timmy Two Shoes on Kentucky. All right. Kentucky's covered 7 of their last 8 games right now coming in. Texas A&M's just 1 and 6 against the spread in their last 7. I guess that might say it all. Kentucky's won 12 of the last 16 meetings, but is just 3 and 6 against the spread in the last 9. But I mean, this is a toss-up. 11 of the last 14 meetings between the two teams have gone over here. Okay, maybe that's supposed to keep me off of it because I want to go under. All right, usually with these A&M games at home just always seem to be under this type of number here. I'm going with the under in Kentucky and Texas A&M. I'm going to go under. Kentucky's streaking. They probably should win it. Next up, all right, we're checking in on the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. This is what this whole show is all about. We're talking about all these mediocre teams, and then we're talking about 29-0 Miami of Ohio. They're ranked here 19th. They're taking on Toledo. This is no joke here. Toledo's won 3 in a row. They're 16 and 13 overall. Not terrific, but nobody's an underdog in this. Toledo's 9 and 3 against the spread as an underdog. 10 and 4 against the spread on the road. So you do have a team here that maybe could get the money at least against Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio finally didn't cover a spread. They struggled actually to beat Western Michigan and needed a spectacular finish to get it done there in that one. So, all right, we're at it here with Miami O. Can they do it again, you guys? Is Miami going to go to 30-0? And we don't want to see them, lose in the regular season. That's for sure. Miami of Ohio's covered 5 of their last 6. They've gone under in 7 of their last 8. Toledo's gone under in 6 of their last 8 games coming into this one. Toledo sometimes has some. They're usually known for a little bit more up-tempo in the years past, but not this year. They're 11 and 16 to the under. Miami of Ohio is 11 and 2 to the over at home. And they just, it's their pace to to dictate, it feels like here. At 162, I know they're expecting it to be a pretty big number there, I guess, huh? All right. Anything in the chat with our undefeated Miami, Ohio Redhawks here? All right. What's the over like? What's the over like at 162? Maybe that's where we got to look here in this one. Maybe to the total here. I don't know. Timmy says he thinks Miami of Ohio will beat these guys up. Yeah. Look, the last game there against Western Michigan, it was on the road. They just played 2 road games again last week, and now they're at home here. Not only that, they're trying to wrap up. Don't let me bury the lead, by the way. They're trying to wrap up the overall conference title. Akron's right on their heels. Akron will play Central Michigan here today. This is the last, next to last game of the season for these teams, so Akron isn't totally done here just yet. Remember, Akron here, they're favorite by 12 at Central Michigan, and then Akron finishes the season against Northern Illinois. They should win that one, but they need they need Miami of Ohio to lose somewhere. All right, that's it, I guess, from everyone in the chat. I guess I got to make my call. All right. I am going to go here with the over in this one with Toledo and Miami of Ohio. Give me the over, 162. Okay, Missouri and Oklahoma. It's just me and Timmy Two Shoes now. Missouri, they are inside the play-in round here in the last 4 byes, according to the bracketology, but still they're in a position where they could use a victory here against Oklahoma. They might not be too affected by a loss here as an underdog to the Sooners, but look, it's a close enough game that if you can win this game, that's going to go a long way to putting you well inside here. Missouri 20-9, winners of 2 straight over Tennessee and Mississippi State. They've actually won 3 of 4 and covered 4 straight. Oklahoma with back-to-back wins over Auburn and LSU as they got the money in both of those games. Missouri's been the better spread team overall here, 7-5 against the spread as an underdog, and Oklahoma's 7-9 against the spread at home. So see what you got here in this one. These 2 teams did play earlier this season. Missouri won it at home, 88-87 as a 4.5 point favorite, though. They only won by 1 in that game. Teams also met. Let's see, they split last year's games with the home team winning on their home floors. So Missouri comes in here, like I said, a little bit of a cover streak, but they're just 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 meetings with OU. However, they've only met here. OU with both teams joining the SEC. There was a gap of about 4 years. I'm really only relying on the last 3 games here. I think Missouri winning their games at home and Oklahoma winning their game at home last season. 96-84 is a 4.5 point dog in that one. Oklahoma's dropped 11 of 15 here as they've kind of been El Foldo, but again, they did win the last 2 games overall, so they're playing on a little bit of an upswing here. They're the one that you look at Oklahoma right now, and they're 15-14 record. I mean, they're going to be not in tournament. So Missouri's kind of got the momentum here, but I don't know if they can. I don't know if this is the right matchup necessarily for them. Let's hear from you. Anything in the chat? All right. And Timmy Choo will take Missouri here in this one. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of going the other way. So let me go with the over here. I'll take the over with Timmy Choo. He likes Missouri, so we'll let him have it. I kind of think Oklahoma's due to pick up a win here, but Give me the over in this one with Missouri and Oklahoma at 152. Okay. 153 now. See, I knew it. 153. All right, I'm still rocking it here in college basketball tonight. Seton Hall and Xavier here in this one, and it's really the team to look at here is Seton Hall. They're in the next 4 out category. They're currently number 75 in the bracketology, in the ESPN bracketology here. So somewhat important game for Seton Hall. The Hall is on the road here in this one, and a slight road favorite against the Musketeers. Xavier comes in 14-15. They're not going anywhere this year, but they did win last time out, pulled off of a win against Georgetown. They covered as well, won by 7 as a 4.5-point favorite to stop a 3-game losing streak. Meanwhile, for Seton Hall here, they covered against Connecticut, and eventually only thing I could do was make a bet on them. I didn't have enough confidence to give out Seton Hall. As confident as I felt on the air that night, I should take Seton Hall. Everything says to take Seton Hall. Boy, the move looks like you're supposed to take Seton Hall. The stats say it takes, and I couldn't do it, but I did bet on them. Anyways, they did get the money in a 4-point loss. They also beat Georgetown, didn't cover, lost to DePaul. So they've been kind of up and down. But the one thing that Seton Hall is 11-2 against the spread on the road. I mean, that's impressive. Now, they're not a great favorite, but again, this is more of a toss-up. Still, they're just 5-5 straight up on the road, although they are 16-14 straight up as a favorite, and Xavier is just 4-13 straight up as an underdog. But still, this is a closely rated game. For Seton Hall here, let's see. Yeah, mostly 1.5, some ones out there. Total 144 here. To me, I think Xavier is a total over team. They're 22-7 to the over, 14-3 to the over as an underdog, 14-5 to the over as at home. Seton Hall, meanwhile, 10-19 to the under, 7-13 to the under as a favorite, and 5-8 to the under on the road. So what would you do when you got this kind of contrast? Teams already met this season. Seton Hall won at home 86-68. That one went over as Seton Hall got the win at home and an easy cover in that one. So can they beat them again here on the road? And does it go over? The series has definitely been an over series between these two teams. There we go. The chat here a little bit in this one and see if you like it with Seton Hall here having lost 5 of their last 6 games on the road. Also lost 5 of the last 7 games against Xavier overall. But Xavier, not your typical Xavier. They've lost 8 of their last 11, although they've covered 4 of their last 6. Seton Hall's gone under in 9 of their last 12. As I mentioned, they're kind of the under team overall. But I don't know. When I just think of Xavier in this role, kind of the home conference game, seems like it mostly goes over. This series, like I said, both meetings last year's meeting wasn't over as well, but the totals were a little bit lower in the previous meetings between these two teams. All right. I'm going to go over in this one. Xavier, let's look at some of these games here of late. Georgetown game was 175 points. Providence game was 178 points. Butler game, 155 points. Villanova game, 181 points. And the Marquette game was 184 points. I'm going to go over in this one. I know that Seton Hall is a big-time, they're an under team, and they're the better team. Maybe it is supposed to. But wouldn't that mean that Seton Hall is going to be able to produce some offense here in this one? Seton Hall games are they're under City here of late. They did go over in the Connecticut game, but that one that was a 130.5 total. but the Georgetown game had only 98 points. The DePaul game had only 120. I'm going over still. Give me the over in this one.
Critical notice.
All right, Timmy might go over, maybe like Xavier here. I've got more college, but I'm not stopping. Nobody said, all of a sudden no one's interested, but okay. Here we go with Boston College and Virginia Tech. You got Virginia Tech here. They're also in the next 4 out category, so they are needing to win here, but they're favored comfortably here by 12 in this one over Virginia Tech. We're into the 9 o'clock games here. Remember, this is an extra big card for a Tuesday. Maybe that's why I didn't know what to do. Boston College 10-19, Virginia Tech 18-11, but it is a big game for Virginia Tech. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games, but covered 3 straight. They just covered against North Carolina, getting 7.5 on the road. They're 18-11 against the spread this season, but just 9-10 against the spread at home. BC's 11-8, 11-8 ATS as an underdog. BC's also 8-11 to the under as an underdog, and I think. Look, this total here, 143.5. I think it went up. Yeah, mostly was 140-ish here or so. 140, 141.5. It's only gone up here in this one for sure. It's gone up quite a bit here, actually. I think I got to go over. I think this is a market chaser here. I think you got to get over in this game. These two teams have not yet met this season, but BC won last year. Hold on, 54-36. What did they call the game off at halftime? BC won that one at home as a 1.5 point dog. The total was 141.5. The game at Virginia Tech in the previous season was 76-71. Maybe I'm missing it there, but it does seem like BC. Yeah, there's a little bit of under here with these two teams, but I don't know, these BC games on the road here like this, usually we see some points in these games when the Eagles are on the road in a conference setting as a big underdog. This is kind of where BC ends up going over a lot of times, especially when they're up against teams that aren't great defensively, I think. So I'm going to take the over here in this one at 143.5. Give me the over here with BC and Virginia Tech. Man, I got some overs here, don't I? All right, Timmy, thank you for being the chat pro tonight. He's going to take BC here. Okay, BYU and Cincinnati is next for me here in the Big 12. We're almost done with college basketball. Remember, we've got a couple of conference tournaments to look at, and I want to look at them. This one's on a time change, originally scheduled for 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Now it's a 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific here in Cincinnati, with the Bearcats favored here by 2, and the total 152 here in this one for Cincinnati. They've won 5 of their last 6. They've also won 6 of their last 7 at home, 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 games overall. BYU's just 3-11 against the spread in their last 14. They've dropped 7 of 10. They've lost 5 of 6 on the road. It just feels like they're fallen by the wayside here as the season draws on. They've really drawn some attention for kind of collapsing here. Still have their great player in their Demensa, but Cincinnati comes in here just a little bit hotter right now with some of their wins off of a win over Oklahoma State last time. They did cover. They did lose to Texas Tech, but remember, they beat Cincinnati on the road, beat Utah, didn't get the money, beat Kansas State. Cincinnati's 9-7 against the spread as a favorite. BYU, subpar really against the spread right now with this little bit of a collapse here. It feels like maybe this is the spot. Maybe this is where BYU is supposed to get healthy here. Cincinnati's 10-18 to the under at home, 5-12 to the under, or I'm sorry, 10-18 to the under overall, 5-12 to the under at home. BYU does tend to go over a little bit. And like I said, Cincinnati has been going over here a little bit more of late. But I think, I don't know, I want to go under kind of in this one. I think these teams kind of draw under here at 152. Maybe we could get some comments from the chat. We got a great crowd here watching the night moves, but no chat pros with me here. Maybe the chat's broken again. All right. Yeah, usually these Cincinnati. I'm going under here with BYU and Cincinnati. I don't want to. I think I'm supposed to take BYU here to get out of this slump here, but I just don't trust it right now. But that's the way I'm leaning, actually, is BYU. But we'll see in the morning. I'm going to take the under here in this one at 152. Here it might be 152.5. All right, Timmy's on Cincy and the under. Thank you to Timmy. LSU and Auburn here. We got more. We got to go to LSU and Auburn, right? We got to go talk about Auburn here. They're the, situation here. Auburn. They're in the last 4 in right now. Really, they're currently basically number 65 here. I mean, last 4 in the field. They'll be in the in that little play-in dealio here probably. Matched up with some teams here like an Indiana, like a TCU, like a Santa Clara. Those are the other teams in the category. For the Tigers here, they're sorry about that. For the Auburn Tigers here, 8.5-point favorite in this one. Total 155.5. LSU is 15-14. Auburn's 15-14 right now, but it is Auburn here with a little bit more, with a little better chance here at this point. These two teams have not yet met this season, but Auburn has won 4 straight meetings between the two clubs. LSU is 8-2 on the road this season. Auburn's covered just one of their last 10 games overall. It's been a disaster here for Auburn. No wonder they need to plead their case. They should tell the committee about how the point spread works. I have Auburn covering a game. Now, some people are reporting they might be 0-10 in the last 10, but I do have they've covered 9. They've failed to cover in 9 straight. How's that? Auburn's failed to cover in 5 straight at home, but LSU's just 1-4, 1-5 straight up, and 1-4 against the spread their last few games against Auburn here. LSU's just 1-6 straight up in their last 7 games, but 4-1 against the spread. They're usually getting enough points. They have covers, even though they lost, they covered against Tennessee, covered against Texas, covered against Alabama. Beat Ole Miss as an underdog in double overtime, remember? And then they lost to Oklahoma, got kind of blown out in that game at home. Auburn, meanwhile, can't cover anything. They beat UK back on February 21st, but they didn't even cover that one. They're not covering anything here right now. LSU is definitely the more solid covered team here. And given the controversy here with Auburn, I mean, you got to take LSU plus the points here, I would think. Yeah, they don't do well in this series, but Auburn seems to be going backwards. LSU is at least covering spreads. They're usually getting enough points. I'm going to take the LSU Tigers here plus 8. The total here, it says 155. 155.5 or so right now. It's only going down. I think it's probably going to even go down further. It's just that Auburn, these home night conference games, I've seen them so, usually it's a pretty high scorer, Auburn at home in this role. But, all right, we got to keep it moving here. I've made my pick, so no reason to lament. But Auburn, in some of these games right now, Look at this. 164 against Ole Miss, 170 with Oklahoma, 149 with the UK, but that was the game they won. It went under. 176 against Mississippi State, 163 against Arkansas. So, all right, I'm going to take LSU. All right, Mr. Weskers is on LSU. Timmy Chushu says LSU can stay in there. All right, and Pete Rose. Remember, there was a time Pete Rose was actually getting into some touting. Remember, he was a radio host, Pete Rose. All right, here we go. Next up, well, let's go to the tournament action here with the Sun Belt Conference. They're playing this one at a neutral site with Georgia State taking on UL Lafayette in the first game here with Georgia State coming in 10-21, UL Lafayette 10-21 here, first round game at Pensacola, Florida. All right. Let's get ready for some tournament action here right now. Georgia State comes in having lost 3 straight games. ULL comes in here having lost a couple in a row, but both teams ended up struggling here, obviously. So the bracket here in this conference is pretty good to the top teams. What they end up getting, buys pretty much all the way to the final rounds there. Number 1 Troy and number 2 Marshall have already qualified for the semifinals. Congratulations to Troy and Marshall. They don't even have to play until Sunday at this point. These 4 teams that I'm going to talk about, have to win basically 5 games in a row just to get to that point. Is this the way we should be doing things? That might guarantee those top teams a better chance. All right, ULL is 4-2 again. Let's see here. ULL's 13-17 against the spread. Georgia State's 13-17 against the spread. These 2 teams met just once this season. ULL won at home, 82-72, is a 1.5-point dog in that one. So let's see what you have here with this first tournament game, officially the first tournament game, because yesterday was a play-in game. This is not. This is just a funky bracket. Georgia State's gone 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. UL Lafayette just 1-5 straight up and against the spread in their last 6. Georgia State lost 9 of their last 10 coming in. Georgia State, I mentioned ULL won the game, but Georgia State actually has been the better. They're 6-1-1 against the spread in the last 7 meetings between the 2 teams. 4 of the last 5 meetings between the 2 teams have gone over. Georgia State's gone over in 5 of their last 7. Let's see what you got here in this one with Georgia State taking on ULL. All right, and we've got, hey, Jack Kush King says, let's, Ramon, please, no more basketball. How many games can you do? Well, I think Al missed his show too. He's not feeling good, so I want to do some extra basketball. And Shaq is here as well still, and Mr. Weskers is on UL Lafayette, and so am I. I'm taking UL Lafayette in this one over Georgia State. Okay, I'm sorry. We got to do a few more. We got to do all the conference tournament. There might be a point where we don't do them all this week when we get into those heavy schedules, but we'll see. Monroe and ODU here in the next one, with ODU favored by 10.5 here. And the total 159. I'm looking for something completely different here in this one. For Old Dominion here, they come in with an 11-20 record. Monroe, of course, 4-27. Did not finish strong at all here right now. ODU did win last time out. They beat Georgia State 81-73. So if you want to make a little bit of comparison shopping here anyway. ODU did lose to Marshall and Southern Miss before that, but beat ULL 83-72 at home, covered the spread in that one, and they beat Georgia State in the other meeting as well. So they swept Georgia State, did Old Dominion here. That's why they're in this seated position that they're in anyways here over the last place team here right now. They get the easy draw. But you know how it is in the conference tournaments. Anyway, these two teams in the regular season, actually, ULM did win 85-79 at ODU as a 14.5-point dog. So maybe there's something to the matchup here. I mean, ULM was 16-11 against the spread, despite having just a 4-27 record. They actually had a better spread record. A much better spread record means they were getting enough points all the time. Imagine that. They were 4-27 straight up. They were 16-11 against the spread. They finished well over 500, even though they were 23 games over 500. They've been a good cover here. We're at a neutral site venue. Monroe covered 4 of their last 5. Old Dominion did cover 5 of their last 7. Old Dominion did go over in 5 of their last 6. These two teams combined to go over in, let's see here, Old Dominion 19-11 to the over, ULM 18-10 to the over, 37-21 to the over for these two teams. ULM 15-9 to the over as a dog. Probably be a high-scoring game here. It shows at 159. Give me ULM here to cover the spread in this one. I'll take 4-27 here. Okay. Shaq, we didn't. St. John's did not get to they did not get the call. Okay, Old Dominion here for Mr. Wesker. And Timmy Chushu says they can turn it on and cover the spread here. All right. Like I said, don't sleep on this, you guys. Old Dominion, I'm not kidding. They were 16-11 against the spread. I think that says now, granted, maybe they were getting 20, but they're getting 10.5 here in this neutral site venue. Okay. Let's go. We got 2 more, you guys. I'm sorry. I thought this would be a good idea. Army and Bucknell here in the Patriot League. Bucknell favored here by 2.5, total 146 here in this one. All right, for the Bison here, look, against a team like Army here, I think Bucknell comes in 9-22 right now, but they did get a win here. They lost their last game to Lehigh, but they beat Army 75-73. It's a 2.5-point dog. Army was home team in that game, so Bucknell was actually the dog in the game. The game was back on February 25th, so it was very, very recent. So you do have to look at it, I think, right there from that perspective. They just, it was basically a week ago. The first meeting at Bucknell, Army won 87-84 as a 4.5-point dog. So they each won on the opposing team's home floor. Both meetings did go over. The first one was 148 at Army. This one is at Bucknell. It is not a neutral site game. In this one, there are 2 kind of first round games. 6 teams are already qualified for the quarterfinals. So these 2 teams, the winner of this game plays Red Hot Navy. Army's 8-6 against the spread on the road. Bucknell just 5-9 against the spread at home. But like I said, Bucknell is a team that has earned the right here to play the game at home after all. All right, let's see what you guys, anything in the chat in this one between Army and Bucknell. Army's just 1-8 against the spread in their last 9 games overall, just 2-6 against the spread against Bucknell in the last 8. But Bucknell, I mentioned the win against Army, but they were 1-6 straight up and against the spread before that. So I guess they found the team they can beat here, huh? All right, I'm going to take Bucknell in this one. Lay the 2.5 against Army. Give me Bucknell. All right, and we've got here Timmy Two Shoes on the under. Mr. Weskers is on Army, and yeah, Davey, they got hot in there, didn't they? Didn't Navy get a little bit warm there? Yeah, Navy finishing strong. They're only 25-6 this year, right? Are they the number one? I forget now. Yeah, they won it. Yeah, they're the number 1 seed. All right. Next up, one more here. The last game. Holy Cross and Lafayette. And Lafayette's at home here, favored by 3.5, total 141.5, Patriot League. Winner will play second place, Lehigh. Holy Cross comes in here 10-21. Lafayette comes in here 11-20. Lafayette might have the UL Lafayette parlay. Lafayette just 4-10 against the spread at home. Holy Cross does have a few covers in here, but not of late. They covered against Bucknell on the road, but really did kind of struggle down the stretch here. Holy Cross just 2-11 straight up in their last 13, 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. They've lost 9 of the last 10 to Lafayette and gone 2-8 against the spread against them. So they may have ended up right there at the bottom of the standings, but Lafayette dominates this team. They've won 7 straight at home against them. Holy Cross did beat them last year in a regular season meeting at home, but it's been all Lafayette in this series, and I've got to take them here at home to blow out Holy Cross, actually. I'm going to take UL Lafayette in this one, and that's it for college basketball. I had to go fast. All right. Let's go to the National Hockey League. You guys have been so patient waiting on me to go through all those games. Jimmy Two Shoes like the over there in the Holy Cross game. Okay, let's go to it. Like I said, I think we're doing them all, so stick around. We're not done yet here on Night Moves. It's already been 2 hours of Ramon talking to you. Let's go, Predators and Blue Jackets here to get it going with Blue Jackets. They're going to be favored at home in this one, $1.25, total 6.5. Now, I love betting on Nashville, but you know what? Columbus, this isn't an awful matchup for the way they're playing right now. They've been pretty fun, pretty terrific, but I think you're supposed to take Nashville in this situation. Columbus comes in here off of a win. Here, Columbus beat the Rangers last night, 5-4. They gave up 4 goals in the third period. What happened there? The Rangers came storming back, and Nashville comes in here on a 2-game losing streak. They beat Chicago out of the break, then lost to Dallas and Detroit. I love what Columbus is doing right now, but I really want to take Nashville in this game. Nashville won the first meeting, I think, between these two teams, 2-1. And, man, I want to take Nashville. I spelled Annanen wrong there on the screen, by the way. And I think Jet Greaves in here in goal. Let's see what's going on with the goalie computer here. But I think it's going to be Greaves and Annanen. I just, I felt bad missing out on that last opportunity when Nashville won that. What happened in that game, that Dallas game? Oh, in overtime. That's right. I was lamenting it at first because I was like, oh, my gosh, they are going to beat them. But I think I am going to take here. It could be. Now, some sites are listing Sarish and Merzlikins, but I think I've got it as Annanen and Greaves here. I'm going to take Nashville. I'm going to take the Predators on the road here in this one. I don't know if I have Nashville has been winning most of the games in this series. Maybe I could draw a little bit from that. Yes, Columbus did win last year at home 8-4 against Nashville. And Nashville just 15-27 as a dog. Columbus is a terrific favorite here, of course, but I think I'm going the other way. Let's go to the chat. Tell me why I'm wrong. Okay, here we go. Preds for Timmy Two Shoes. Okay, and Columbus money line for Dak Kush King. Thanks, Dak Kush King, for waiting for me here to get to the hockey. Columbus is 14-7 to the over at home as a favorite. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, so Saros was in there in that Detroit game. Yeah, the 4-2 loss for Nashville. And yeah, so I think you're right. It's great. Great job there. Great job, Timmy. All right, I'm taking the Predators. I'm gonna buck these trends. I love Columbus right now. I'm gonna take Nashville in this one. Golden Knights taking on the Sabres here. Come on, what? $1.25. Now look, I know, hey, Vegas, they've lost 2 in a row here. Whenever they go, on the road here to the East Coast, whatever's going on, they just seem to be having problems here of late right now. Vegas coming in here off of losses to Washington, and then they looked terrible there the other night against Pittsburgh, and they're going to be in for it here, it feels like. Vegas has lost 7 of their last 10. They've lost 4 of the last 5 against Buffalo, lost 5 of the last 6 trips here. Buffalo's won 9 of 12, famously on fire here right now, again out of the break. 3 straight wins over New Jersey, Florida, and Tampa Bay. I'd usually say that looks like a good winning streak, but 2 of those teams are last place teams still. Still New Jersey, Florida, and Tampa Bay, of course, is in first place. They hammered Tampa Bay 6-2. Buffalo's gone over in 7 of their last 9 at home here. They're 15-10 to the over as a favorite. BGK's over in 6 of their last 9 coming in. I've got the Buffalo Sabres here. Come on. Buffalo, baby. This team has been amazing right now. Look, Vegas is still going to be there in the Western Conference here, but I'm going to take Buffalo. Is the goalie of the Sabres here really named Saber? What do I have there, and what is wrong with this? What is wrong with my scoreboard back here? We've died here. Let's see what's going on with the out-of-town scoreboard here. Let's go to the chat. And Mr. Weskers wants the Silver Knights, of course, play just minutes away from me here. All right, let me put on a different background here. We can't be having my total setup here exposed right now. I don't know why the out-of-town scoreboard is malfunctioning here. All right. All right, that'll do for now. Maybe the show was too long. All right, I'm taking the Sabres here. And by the way, the goalie, who do I have in here? Saber. Alex Lyon. I wonder if I just made it up or. All right, I'm going with the Sabres here in this one. Comments from the chat. Buffalo for Jermaine. Jermaine for Mr. Whiskers. All right. Sabres are killers. And Timmy did say BGK there. Look, I still think BGK. I mean, I still think they're the better team of the two. But this Buffalo situation it seems to be continuing right out of it, right out of the break. Okay, next up. We've got the Mammoth taking on the Capitals here. Mammoth on the road. Even money against Utah here. Utah coming in off of a loss last time out to Chicago, 4-0. Washington, meanwhile, lost to Montreal after defeating Philadelphia and BGK out of the break here. But still, Washington 19-10 at home. Mammoth are just 7-14 as an underdog. Capitals. Hey, look. Right now for Washington, it's looking pretty good. I mean, they're battling it here with Columbus, with Philly, battling for playoff berth here a little bit. And for the Mammoth, they're also hot in playoff contention here. Fourth place currently in the Central. But I think at home here, I think I'm going to prefer Washington here in this one. Maybe we can hear from you in the chat with this matchup. But to me, Washington at home here. They got a nice home record as well, 19-10 overall, 24-17 as a favorite. Washington is 17-24 to the under as a favorite, and 13-19 to the under at home. Utah, meanwhile, 12-9 to the over as a dog. But these two teams have not yet met this season. I'm going to end up here, I think, on Washington in this one against Utah. Let me hear from you in the chat. Washington has won 6 of their last 8. They've won 5 straight at home. Utah has won 5 of the last 6 years here in Washington. They've won 4 of the last 6 against the Caps overall, and Utah has won 12 of their last 18 coming in. But I'm going to take the Capitals here at home against the Utah Mammoth. All right, and next up, we better cook it here a little bit. Penguins and Bruins with Skinner and Swayman here in this one for Pittsburgh. They come in here 31-15-13. Boston 32-21-5. Pittsburgh's played a little bit better here out of the break of the two teams. They beat New Jersey and VGK, beat them 5-0. Lost to the Rangers on the road for Boston. Meanwhile, they've lost here against Philadelphia 3-1 last time out. They opened with a win over Columbus. They've only had 2 games so far out of the Olympic break. Boston's 22-8 at home, but Pittsburgh's 16-7 on the road. They're also not a terrible dog, 16-16 overall. Boston 13-16 as a favorite. See what you got here in this one with Boston at home here. I think we've seen some overs maybe from these two teams this season. Boston's 33-26 to the over. Teams met back on January 11th, though. It was only 1-0. Boston won that one at home against Pittsburgh. That's the only meeting that these two teams have had this season. So obviously we're going to be seeing more from these two here coming up. Boston here has won, let's see, 5 of the last 6 meetings between these two teams right now. Boston's won 10 straight at home. Pittsburgh, though, 8-3, straight up on the road. They've won 9 of the last 12 overall, so both teams are pretty hefty here. Looking good. Boston, though, like I said, has kind of owned the series a little bit between these two. I'm going to take the Boston Bruins at home here on Night Moves. Give me Boston. All right. Tremaine's on Boston money line, and maybe it'll go overtime. Mr. Weskers is always looking to Fade Skinner. Next up. Oh boy, we should. Okay, there one game we could skip. I just don't want to give up on the Florida Panthers just yet. I mean, they're 30, 27, and 3. It's just that they're in last place. So is New Jersey. So let's not cover this one for too long, but it does seem interesting. I mean, Florida, they're getting a little bit healthy. Not like they're winning anything. They've lost the last 2 games. New Jersey actually comes in here off of a win over St. Louis 3-1. Before that, they'd been on a losing streak. They've lost 5 of their last 6. Florida's won 5 of the last 6 meetings here in New Jersey, actually. Florida comes in off of back-to-back losses to Buffalo and the Islanders. They beat Toronto, first one out of the gate. The Panthers, I believe are they an underdog here now? Let me see here. I thought they were a favorite. It's either a pick'em or the Panthers are a slight favorite. That's for sure. So let's see here. Florida. I'm going to take Florida here. I'm taking Florida for sure in this game. Man, I'm on all sides so far. Where are the totals tonight? This one I wasn't sure about the total though. New Jersey's 9-19 to the under at home. Florida's 18-9 to the over on the road. 4 of the last 5 meetings between the 2 teams have gone under here. Like I said, Florida's been just a total over here right now. 5 straight overs on the road. So I'll just take here the Panthers to win. Mr. Western says that teams from Canada aren't going to have to worry about this time around. Dak Kush King is on Florida. And right, Jermaine, but it's just been an awkward season for Florida. They've never really gotten it going here of late. Next up, the Blackhawks are on the road against the Jets. I mean, you could say that this is a game that maybe could have been a pass on too, but doesn't feel like you can count out the Jets just quite yet, right? Yeah, they might be sitting here currently in 6th place, but they could still get it going. You got the champ here, Connor Hellebuck, I believe, in here in this one, maybe up against Knight. So let's see what you got here. Winnipeg 23, 26, and 10. Chicago 23, 28, and 9. Chicago coming in here off of a win, actually, over Utah. They lost their first 2 out of the break to Nashville and Colorado. Winnipeg, meanwhile, beat Vancouver to open up out of the break, but then lost at Anaheim and San Jose. They return home after starting on a 3-game trip. Chicago 11-14 on the road, 23-34 as an underdog. Winnipeg, just average here at home, actually, 12-11, 18-17 as a favorite here. So you do have basically the 6th place and 7th place teams in the Central. Probably could have passed on this one, but like I said, I kind of want to give these teams still a chance. It feels like, particularly Winnipeg, even though they've just not lived up to expectations, obviously, this season. So see how you like this one with Chicago taking on Winnipeg here. I'm going to take the Chicago Blackhawks to win this one. Look, I think the Blackhawks on the road are just a better proposition, and the Jets at home, not so much. The Jets are already one of the worst teams to bet on this season. They're down 17 units, and they're down 7 units at home. Meanwhile, Chicago's actually up 4 units on the road this season. I'm going to take Chicago here in this one. All right, let's see here. You got Timmy's on the Jets money line. Jermaine's on the Jets puck line. You're right, Timmy. We probably couldn't. I just did too many games here tonight. I'm glad you guys stuck with me here. Timmy's maybe says that's a sharp pick by Ramon Dak Kush King. Those on Winnipeg. Thank you to Dak Kush King tonight. Senators on the road taking on the Oilers. in this one. Oilers a favorite, $1.25 here against the Senators. The total is 10. It should be. I'm going to take a total on this one, I'm pretty sure. Let's see what you guys got here. But come on, Ottawa and Edmonton. The total 6.5. It's actually, is it shaded to the under here? I got it 6.5 flat on the screen, but no, it's 6.5 over. Let me at least make it shaded to the over, because this one may be 7 tomorrow, guys. You might want to, I think it's going to be over City here. Ottawa comes in off of a win, 5-2 at Toronto. They're 1-1 out of the break. Edmonton is 1-2 out of the break. The only game they won was against LA. Probably got the coach fired, the LA coach. Edmonton 15-10 at home. Ottawa 15-12 on the road, although just 7-10 as a dog. But look, you've got Ottawa 11-6 to the over as an underdog. You got Edmonton 20-8 to the over at home. These two teams now, look, they played back once already, but it was only 3-2. But I'm going over. I don't even know if like I said, we're speeding along here. We got to get going. I'm taking the over in this one between Ottawa and Edmonton. Edmonton's gone over in 5 of their last 6. Ottawa's gone over in 13 of their last 19 on the road. Edmonton's won 6 of the last 7 meetings between these two teams. They probably should get it done here, but man, Edmonton is so scary. Every game is an adventure right now. Just lost that game to San Jose 5-4. They made it a game, actually. Lost to Anaheim 6-5 and blew out the Kings. Ottawa's won 6 of their last 8. Edmonton just 1-5 in their last 6. Give me the over in this one. We need a total, but I like the over here. It might be a freemium, but I thought everyone would like the over. All right, let's see here. Jermaine likes the over in this one. And I think Timmy likes the goaltending situation here. He likes Linus Ullmark. Okay, we're moving on here. Canadians taking on the Sharks in this one. Look, Canadians are one of my favorite teams. 33-17-9. The Sharks are 29-25-4. Sharks have won 2 straight here over Edmonton and Winnipeg at home. They're at home again. Montreal comes in here off of a win against Washington at home. They lost to the Islanders out of the break to go 1-1 here so far. These two teams have not yet met here this season. Montreal is 16-6 on the road, but the Sharks are 16-10 at home here. Let's see what you have here with this one with the Sharks at home. They're a dog in this game here. I'm on San Jose. Give me San Jose in this one. I think I went out of order, guys. Sorry about that. I caught you by surprise. I think I missed the other. I didn't skip them. I just hit the wrong button. So, screwed this one up. But let's see what you got here. Hey, up 1 money. Made it. Sharks are a better unit, says Timmy Two Shoes. Every time Edmonton equalizes, Yari lets 2 more go in. All right, we got to go quickly here. Let me go back to the games I missed. I'm sorry about that. I wondered what was wrong here. Stars on the road taking on the Flames. Stars are favored here. Stars are on fire. Stars rolled last night over Vancouver. They crushed them. It does seem like the Stars are, yes, I mean, of course they're on fire, but it feels like the Stars are making a point right now. Now, this might be the right spot, actually, for Calgary, and I actually might take them here as a dog. But let's see what you've got. The Stars come in here, haven't lost out of the break here, obviously. 3 straight wins over Seattle, Nashville, and Vancouver here. They've really been tearing teams up here of late. And, they probably should here, but they're going to probably go to Casey DeSmith here in this one. Dallas has won 9 straight. Calgary's lost 5 of their last 7 at home, 8 of their last 11 overall. Calgary's gone under in 8 of their last 11, but 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have gone over. Teams met in November. Calgary won here at home 3-2. That might happen again here. Dallas is 19-7 on the road, but Calgary's still 15-10 at home. This is where they've actually, won a few games here. So let's see what you got. But I'm going to take Calgary in this one. I'm going for an upset tonight. Look, I rolled with Dallas puck line yesterday. I know how to do it, but I'm going to go with the Flames here tonight. Timmy wants the Flames too. I'm doing it. I'm going to take the Flames in this one. Let's keep it moving here right now. The show's almost over. Man, are we really going to be here for 2.5 hours tonight? Thank you for joining me on Night Moves. Lightning and Wild here. It's a great sports betting day. Lightning and Wild, Vasilevsky here, and the Wall of St. Paul. Both teams have lost 2 straight here right now. Tampa Bay beat Toronto to open up after the break, but then lost to Carolina and Buffalo. Meanwhile, Minnesota beat Colorado, but then they lost to Utah and St. Louis here. So let's see how this one goes with these 2 teams right now. You do have Tampa Bay coming in here having won 16 of their last 20, 9 of their last 12 on the road. They've actually lost 9 of the last 13 games to Minnesota overall, but Minnesota's won 11 of the last 12 home games against this team at home. So weird there that Tampa Bay, just 4-9 in their last 13 against them, but 1-11 here. So let me see. So that means Tampa Bay's won. Yeah, okay. They were on a 3-game winning streak against the Wild until last season when Minnesota won them both. Okay, I got you there now. I think that makes more sense. So, man, you're getting Minnesota as a dog. Now, Tampa Bay has been hot. There's no doubt. This team is on fire here. They're also 19-6 on the road here right now. But Minnesota 17-7 at home. Tampa Bay also 26-22 to the over as a favorite. Minnesota 15-10 to the over as a dog. Minnesota's gone over in 14 of their last 16, including 7 of their last 9 at home. I'm going to take the over here, but I think you know who I might be on the side, but I didn't take a lot of totals on this show like I usually do. That's because we've been hitting some totals. I probably should just play all totals premiums. Okay, give me the over in this one at 6 over minus 120 with Tampa Bay and Minnesota here tonight. The last 3 games between these 2 teams have averaged 8 goals. Okay. Cup preview. Okay. Over for Timmy. I think we're at the end of the show, actually. I think there's only 1 game left, and it's the Avalanche and the Ducks. Wow. Thank you for joining me here on an extended edition of Night Moves here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, the 53,000 subscriber juggernaut. I'm pausing here because I don't have the goalies in for some reason. I probably got tired. All right, Avalanche and Wedgwood. Up against Luke Dostal here for the Ducks. Take a look at this one, man. What another good game. Good hockey card. Great hockey card. Who are we kidding? All right, man, the Avalanche, $1.50 here. Haven't they heard of the Anaheim Ducks? I wish they were still the Mighty Ducks. Come on. For Anaheim here, they come in here on their own roll right now. Colorado's on a season-long roll, but Anaheim's won 8 straight at home, 5 straight overall. They are just 1-7 their last 8 against Colorado. And even though this is a totally new and improved and great Ducks team, they still probably hold over them a little bit anyway. But when the teams met back in January in Colorado, that's when Anaheim got that 1 win. So watch out. Colorado's won 4 straight, 10 of their last 15 on the road here right now. You know who we're on, but I might have to go to the total here. It might be too easy. Let's see what you guys got. here in this one. Anaheim at home is just such a juggernaut with their scoring. They're 19-10 to the over, but Colorado still kind of a solid under overall here. But let's see what you got in this one. Maybe I'll take a total here. Let's see. I think I want to take the Ducks. Dostal's an over. Jermaine's going over here, I think, as well. I'm going to take the Ducks at home. Come on, give me the Ducks. But I think the over might be a premium for me. I took a lot of sides there on that card. That's it. You guys, we got to go. Come on. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel tonight and listening to me basically preview 35 games. Or well, maybe it was more than that. We'll be back tomorrow with more night moves. We'll get ready for more conference tournament action. We'll kind of shift the focus to conference tournaments, and we're not going to have 10 games in the NBA and NHL every night. So really appreciate it. Really thanks to Tony, too, for letting me talk this long on his channel. Hopefully the algorithm doesn't go crazy. But stay tuned. We got some big things planned here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, one of which might be trying to get Ramon a new out-of-town scoreboard. So, all right, that's going to do it here for the show. Got 50 of you in here. I don't want to leave you here. Got your attention. I will go over to Tony'sPicks.com and use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 15% off the premium pick packages, including mine. There you see my records so far in the various sports at Tony's Picks. Look, there's some great cappers on this site. They're probably all better than me. But if you look at the diversity of my card, I think that's where I excel the most. I think if I had to pick myself over the guys a little bit, maybe it's on the whole landscape of sports betting. There's some guys who are really tear it up in some sports, some specific sports and groups of sports as well. They've got those great records. But look, I get it done in a lot of sports. That's my favorite thing to do, is look at some of these minor sports as well. One thing I like, I sit here and read off these trends and standings and numbers, and really most of my handicapping comes off of reading the stories of the games from the beat writers, to be honest with you. All right, that's going to do it here for the show. Make sure you head on over there to Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me here on Night Moves. We'll be back tomorrow from Las Vegas. I'm Ramon Scott. So long from Night Moves.